Hello, and thank you for having a listen to this week's episode of Secure Insights with NDK Cyber. Now, many of you may know already, NDK Cyber are first and foremost a cyber talent organization. We help organizations scale very rapidly. We help you hire in tricky locations. If you're looking for niche skill sets, the chances are, if you're looking for those things, we've done it before and can help you do the same again. Now, we started the Secure Insights podcast really as a way to shine a light on important areas, to tackle hot subjects, and really to give people a platform on which to tell some pretty cool stories. Now, this week, I was joined by Lars and Dane from Guardare. I'll let the guys explain where Guardare fit into the market, as they're pretty unique. I haven't seen anything like this before. We talk through everything from where Guardare came from, the idea behind it, the problems that enterprises and SMBs are facing with just the sheer amount of tooling and noise from their security stack, and really we get into how we're not necessarily applying joined up thinking to create the most secure and time efficient environment. So very excited to share this with you guys, and over to the feedback as always. Enjoy.
Okay, we're live. Well, guys, thank you for jumping on.
Yeah, no worries.
Glad to be here.
Good stuff. So we'll get stuck in a moment, but just for anybody, I guess, that hasn't seen your backgrounds, doesn't know you guys too well, are you okay to just high level introductions on who you are?
Sure
Sure.
thing. Lars, go ahead.
So I'm Lars Letonoff, CEO and co-founder of Guardare, and I've been in cybersecurity for many years. This is our third startup. First was Sunbelt Software, and kind of a niche endpoint security play, and we sold that company to Insight Partners, Portco GFI in 2010, and then I was the third employee at KnowBe4. So kind of there from pre-revenue all the way up through our unicorn status with KKR, went public on the NASDAQ, and then 18 months later, we were taken private by Vista Equity Partners out of Texas. And I exited KnowBe4 at that time, and Dane pitched me on the whole Guardare idea and asked me to come on board as CEO here. Obviously, I jumped on board, light bulb went off, and we've been busy kind of in stealth mode for a couple years, and we just went live with a commercial product July 1st of this year.
Yeah.
Dane?
Yeah. So hi, Dane Fiori, president and founder of Guardare. So I had spent about 15 years in enterprise international sales for SaaS products. In 2015, Stu and Lars, Stu, the CEO of KnowBe4, and Lars, the chief revenue officer of KnowBe4, they brought me in to run the enterprise team. So at the time, the company was pretty heavily saturated in the small medium business market, and they wanted to kind of launch into the international and enterprise space. So brought me in. It was me and one other guy. Grew it up to just under 50 people. Was really good at getting the saturation on the enterprise side. And just like Lars, after the Vista acquisition, I had this idea sticking in my head for a few years, and went and found the right people, started putting it together, and thought it was time to go, full time on building this platform and building the company.
Nice, thanks, guys. A lot of history there, like compacted quite well. So, I guess anyone listening to this will very much likely know before and that world there. But where does Guardare fit in? Then what was that brainwave you spoke about there?
Yeah, so in the enterprise sale with KnowBe4, it was people knew they needed to do security awareness training, and so the sale was, why would I buy you over the two or three other vendors in the market? On the small medium business side, it was it was new to them. It was total greenfield. It was training and fishing your employees was not in the realm of what to do in cybersecurity or in the IT space. And that was intriguing to me. And so I started digging into why is it? Is it a mentality thing? Is it just, oh, when you're at people are only attacking the enterprises? It wasn't any of that. It came down to a simple fact that unless you're in a highly regulated industry like fintech or healthcare, if you're under 1,000 employees, right, your small, medium businesses, they they don't have a cybersecurity team. They don't have a cybersecurity person, like a full-time person just handling cybersecurity. It tended to be a group of IT network admins, maybe an IT director, or just one IT person that was entrusted with everything IT, but also security. And these guys and gals, hard workers, but overworked, understaffed, under budgeted, and they just didn't know what to do in what order. And so that's why they weren't thinking with, oh, I need to train and fish my employees. So that was a light bulb for me. And with the advent of coming out of OpenAI, ChatGPT, these large language models, I was like, hey, if could we create a true AI, not just like an agent that has a particular function, but a true AI that we could train to think like a cybersecurity analyst or a CISO and provide from a defensive perspective, like what are the things I need to do to protect my organization, but also train it on adversarial type of attacks, CVEs, your MITRE attack, open data sets where you can kind of, have I been pwned or other types of sites about, data breach information, and have it have that dichotomy where constantly, like, how do I protect, but how would I attack myself? Almost like internal red teaming, creating a product that could then say, all right, I know what we're doing. I'm integrated with the entire tech stack. How do I make this upscale, this IT admin or IT team to be like they had a full-time security team. So that was my initial, like, that's what I want to do, and brought it to some really smart people, much smarter than me, that can actually punch the keyboard and code, and spent a couple years building it. And like Lars said, we went full market ready on July 1st.
Very nice. Yeah.
There's also, this thing within cybersecurity, and as much as we try to grab that single pane of glass in the past, and a lot of companies, SIM being the latest one to claim it, but that always fell down, that single pane of glass. And what we wanted to do was to holistically look at the entire organization, that being people, devices, and software, and then that related to whatever security frameworks that they're working with, combined with whatever data feed we're getting from the outside. He mentioned CVEs, where we would want to be able to grab, okay, this is the latest, hottest, critical CVE that you just hit. We wanted to be able to, in real time, go in and say, wow, this is really dangerous. Go in, look, people, devices, and software, identify for that cybersecurity person, hey, this is instant, this is now, this is bad, and you've got 7 devices that are affected by this issue and 3 individuals. Let's clean that up right now. Oh, and by the way, here's step-by-step instructions on how to do that. And that's really what was missing, that holistic, everything together in one console.
Got you. And I guess it's kind of like enabling small medium enterprises to have cybersecurity without maybe extending huge costs or investing huge amounts of time, or there must be still an element of, I don't really need cybersecurity. The cyber criminals aren't going to come after me.
Yeah, that's a common, obviously, misconception with the small medium businesses. But funny enough, they are the low hanging fruit, because the attackers know they don't have the budget, they don't have the teams, they don't have the things in place, or they have some of the products, but they're not using them correctly, right? There's shelfware, there's product misconfigurations, there's devices that came online that they just needed to get them working and running, and they didn't add, endpoint protection to it. So they've had, 16 devices that don't have EDR, that are running an MDR. So it is a thing. But our initial go-to-market strategy was for the SMBs. Like, that was the initial thing. But we very quickly, with having 175 integrations, and a lot of them were with these big tools that the big Fortune 500 and the Global 2000, they're using those tools as well. And we're seeing, like Lars was saying, it's, we're not promoting, hey, it's the single pane of glass, just because I think there's so much heartache where people have been promised it for 15 years and no one's ever been able to deliver on it. But it's that thing where it's so close enough, if not there. But what enterprises are finding is that we're able to break down silos. Is they have separate teams. They have the IT team. They have the security team, and they're so separated. But even within the cybersecurity team, you have 4 or 5 members. They have their own functions. They're doing their own things. We still find in these enterprises like product misconfigurations, redundancies. They have one person's running one product, another person's running another product, and they actually have similar functions, and they're kind of either counteracting or they're doing double, so they're getting twice the amount of reports. They're having to review these reports. They're getting even more, and so they get these like alert fatigue. Having something like Guardare where everything's plugged into it, and you have this AI that can look at millions of pieces of data at once and look at disparities and redundancies, and then correlate all that data to a very refined data feed to say, these are okay, you got 1,000 alerts. These are actually the 5 things you need to take care of. And by the way, we're going to put it in order of what's going to reduce the most risk, and paint by numbers, step by step, super simple instructions on how to do it.
And I'll add to that for the enterprise side is Verizon does their annual data breach report every year, and they do a deep dive into all the different things that occur. And they've been doing this report for years. But one of the interesting things that comes out of that, which is especially important to enterprise, is depending on the year, when they compile their data, 80% to 70%, depending on the year, the actual vulnerability with forensics was found to exist in the logs. Like somewhere, somehow, they were told, hey, this is bad and you're at risk here, but they missed it. Again, with the tremendous amount of data coming at them, the siloed off products, the data, the alert fatigue. So it's this concept in cybersecurity that you don't know what you don't know. And that's really what can come back and bite you the hardest. And that's the huge appeal for enterprise, is to compile all that data and really put it in front of the cybersecurity professionals in order, in an ability for them to just act on it immediately and fix it.
That's the bit that strikes me. I mean, I'm no industry analyst here at all. I wouldn't confess to be at all, but it's that bit of bringing all the data together, but then here are your actionables, and here's the order, and here's what needs doing, rather than, I guess, it would just be more noise or a correlation of the noise, wouldn't it? So, again, not an industry analyst, but I've not seen anything like this before. It seems fairly unique.
It is. In SMB, it's a very simple explanation, and it's a simple go-to-market strategy, right? You're talking to guys that they go to sleep every single night with their head hitting the pillow, worried that their organization is going to be attacked and they're not going to be able to defend against it because they don't necessarily know what to do or how to stop it. And so when you speak to that, like, hey, we built a product initially for companies that security relies on or is being relied upon the IT team, and they don't know what to do when, they're like, that's me. Tell me, okay, yeah. What did you build for me? So it's a lot of interest there, and it's a very easy conversation because we're telling you step by step what to do. On the enterprise side, it's a bit different because we don't want to alienate. We don't want to make it seem like we're saying that the security team doesn't know what to do. These guys are certified. They spent years and a lot of their time to perfect their craft and understand everything there is to know about cybersecurity, and use tools and investigate. And we didn't want to say you don't know what you're doing, but there is a lot of times that there's so much data out there, and the opportunity for things to go wrong, like Lars was saying, it's in the logs, and it's not only in the logs, but those 78% of those organizations, they actually had a product that would have prevented that thing, right? It would have prevented that, and it was just misconfigured. And so we're able to take that. And so, but unfortunately, when we're explaining what we're doing, they're like, on the enterprise side, they're like, oh, so you're like a SIM, or so I get it. You're like EDR, MDR, and they're trying to pigeonhole us into something, and and it rightfully so. I mean, that's kind of how they evaluate things. They want to know like what's your competitor? What's the thing that's and unfortunately, there's nothing really out there doing what we're doing right now. There's a company that does product misconfigurations. They have like 50 or 60 integrations and they just do misconfigurations, but they're not looking at the CVEs. They're not looking at people. They're not looking at, oh, this person, their password was breached and they're an admin and their device has a CV. Like they're not looking at the holistic picture like we are. And then there's companies that do, AI SOC, right? Or agentic SOC. They have agents, autonomous agents. And so when they start thinking with, oh, they're doing these oh, you guys are like an agent, sort of, but no, not really. Like, yes, we have the agents running there, but we're on the side that fully autonomous agentic AI for the SOC it's not ready, and the industry's not ready for it. There was an article just I think like 3 weeks ago about how specifically on the agents, and I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but it's kind of
No, please.
Is that the adversaries are using agents to attack organizations. Well, then we're starting to implement these agents. When I say we, I mean on the defense side, cybersecurity professionals are using agents to defend the organization. What's happening is the agent on the adversarial side is indicating to the agent on the defense side, like, hey, I'm an agent. I'm just like you. And there's like this sympathy, like understanding between them. And the agent on the defense side is being social engineered by the agent on the adversarial side to help them attack the organization. And they're being successful. And so, I mean, because agents like LLMs, I mean, they're constantly they want to learn, right? And so if they learn like, oh, you're an agent just like me, how can I be a better agent? And you're like, well, let me in on this particular thing. It's incredible. So to have an agent that's just autonomous handling your firewall or patching or doing really anything. Yeah, there's logs that you can review and make sure it did it right. But we're also finding LLMs that are, they're lying. They because they don't want to be found out, right? They did something wrong and then they will straight up lie afterwards and say, I didn't do that. I didn't say this and try backpedaling. So who's to say that they're not going to give false logs and whatnot? So we are
go ahead.
Yeah, our simple stance is it's AI with human collaboration, right? Or it's, human with AI collaboration. And even the Gartners and the Forresters and, these market research analysts, they're like, we've had deep conversations with them. And they're like, yeah, guys, like this is new. This is something it's exciting and they're really excited about it. And the closest thing that they've tried, that we've kind of come up with is it's unified exposure management.
Okay.
Right. It's that's which is a very broad category. But we're there. And now that's not to say that in the future we're not going to have agents that will do tasks for the security analyst or the IT director. We want that. We want to make it to where you can assign tasks to something to be done quicker for you so you can maximize your efforts, but not just these agents autonomously just doing what they want to do when they want to do it. Sorry, Lars.
No, I was going to say that is really what's unique about us and separates us from other companies that are in similar spaces is that we're keeping the IT professional 100% in control. And when we originally built the product, we did look at that fully agentic, autonomous AI, find it, fix it, do everything, and save you a bunch of time. But we talked to hundreds of CISOs in doing our research to build the product. And there really wasn't a stomach for that whatsoever. These guys were like, yeah, there's no way I'm turning over my SOC to a machine. So what we're essentially doing, we're in the background doing all the heavy lifting, all that work that really a human can't even deal with now. There's not enough time in the day. And we're essentially providing them with the results and providing them with, okay, here's how you fix it. And that really, I mean, we estimate right now that teams are spending about 75% of their day identifying and verifying what needs to be done, and 25% of their time actually remediating problems. And our goal is to flip that on its head, where they're spending about 25% of their time identifying and verifying, which they do without leaving our console. And then, I mean, for instance, everything that we identify in the console, we give them the receipts right there. So we say, hey, this particular device is not encrypted. And by the way, here's all the receipts, here's the logs, here's everything you need to verify that. And then we give them the instructions how to fix it. So we're essentially tripling the effectiveness of their team and actually remediating issues. They go from 25% of their time to 75% of their time actually doing the work to make their network safe.
That's astonishing. That stat there alone, 75% of the time, not actually doing the remediation, but identifying what needs to be done. If that doesn't speak to there's maybe too much noise at the moment, then I don't know what does, you know? That's astonishing. So
Yeah.
you guys, I know fairly recently out of the blocks, but there must be some very cool success stories and use cases coming through already, no?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm on a lot of the customer calls. We had just one the other day. We did a POC, proof of concept or proof of value, POV, POC, however you call it. And we connected up. We normally, if someone's got a tech stack of, let's say, 12 to 15 products, right? We'll do a integration or a POC of, 5 or 6, right? Just to kind of show, hey, can we even just spot a couple, misconfigurations, prove a little bit of value, and then, move them along to as a paying customer. And so we connected to this one customer, and we let it run for a few days. And guy's a big baseball fan, and so we have the call to review the results, and we got the whole team on there, and we're all excited about it because we saw some like pretty good stuff. And the baseball reference he uses, like, well, guys. You swung and missed. You struck out on your first at bat, and we're like, "Whoa, okay. Well, what happened?" And obviously we got the World Series going on and everything, so it was for the baseball reference. But we had indicated that he had devices on his network that were not encrypted, and he goes, "I know I know it's wrong because I'm the one that does all that, and Intune does not allow our devices on the network if they're not encrypted." So, and so we're like, okay, well, let's look at the logs, right? Like Lars was saying, we provide the receipts, we provide the logs right there, the raw data. And so we look into it and we scroll down, and our VP product was able to, okay, well, what does it say right here? It says not encrypted, these particular devices. And it wasn't all their devices. It was a sample, it was a set. And so he's like, well, let's look. So customer goes into Intune, and he goes, yep, sure enough, it's showing compliance. Everybody's encrypted. And we're like, well, okay, Intune's not the one that does the encryption. Can we look at that product? So we look at that product, and sure enough, that product, what happened is it did a reboot, and the devices were these 37 devices were supposed to reboot and reset. And when they did, they were stuck in pending. And so it never updated that data to Intune. And sure enough, for the last however much time since that reboot, those devices were on the network, allowed to be on the network by Intune. And it was just due to a missed data feed within the products, within the APIs. And that's the power of the AIs, is that you have this person who is a cybersecurity person and very well respected. They were under the impression, because they're looking at one source, right, saying that this is fine, but the AI is able to look across the entire data set and say, "Whoa, hold on, we have an issue here. This is a point." That's one example, and then another answer. And it's funny because I actually use this other example and have since it started, and we had this come up, which was pretty great. Was me walking in, putting my finger facial scanner, whatever that we have for coming into the office, it's scanning my face at 8:57. That and allowing me in, not that big of a deal. It's an action, something that happened. Me logging onto my MacBook or my Chromebook or whatever I'm using, it at 9:01. Okay, datum, not that big of a deal. Log in from California at 9:02. Again, a datum, I travel all the time, not necessarily an issue. The AI looking at all that data is like, whoa, hold on. We have an issue here, right? Dane is physically in the office, but 1 minute later, he's logging on to the network at, over here in California. Alert. And so we had that. We actually had a recent customer who a end user received a phishing email from a product, right? It was spoofed from a product saying that their password needed to be changed. They clicked on it, put in their old username, their old password, and they were compromised. And then the attacker was able to go in. We recorded all that. We actually brought it up as like, hey, this is an alert. This is a problem. Is you have someone, he's always logging in from this one IP address. He's now logging in from New York. This is an issue. But even prior to that, we had identified that they use MFA for all these other products, but they're not using MFA for this particular one. And that was a high risk item that we had brought up that they could have handled, and it would have stopped it in its tracks, right? So it would have stopped in its tracks on the one attack. But then on top of that, we identified even afterwards, they didn't put that fine real time. Hey, this is an issue. You need to go ahead and block this IP so that the person can actually get into the network. So these are becoming like daily occurrences and examples, and it's high and low. Small, medium businesses to your big enterprises are finding some of these things that they did not know they have going on. And it's exciting. It's fun. It's like, yeah, I basically feel like I'm a spy. Like every day I get to like see this super exciting thing. And so I personally, I love it. I love being on these calls and hearing these success stories. So yeah.
What did the baseball guy say when you went back and sort of proved it?
So he's like, never mind. He's like,
here's my credit card.
He's like, bases loaded, grand slam. Like he's like, all right, I get it. Like, okay, so it's I'm not going to say who I'm rooting for the World Series. So I don't want to alienate anybody and everything. No, it's
but James,
yeah.
I'll add to that. And this is 100% every single customer or potential customer. Everyone that's done a POC has literally had a step back, oh wow moment. I had no idea, like some major critical item popped up in that POC and they're like, oh my God. And we've had that with every single customer without fail. Nobody has done a POC, hooked up their products, and not really found anything. Like every single one of them, there's been something major that they've missed.
Lars, I got to correct you. There was the one. They
Which
did become
one?
Kent Power. Kent Power, early days. This guy did a beta with us. Jordan, give him a shout out. He gave me approval to use him in marketing materials and stuff already, so I can go ahead and I can share it. But so he, this is anecdotal, but he's one of the only ones that, I mean, his security awareness training was on point. His firewall was set up perfectly. His endpoint protection was like, we logged in and we integrated everything and everything was green. It was all good. And our VP product's like freaking out, like he's sweating. He's like, this guy's not gonna buy. And I don't know what to do. I'm like, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, Charles, what are you talking about? This is fantastic. People will buy for this because, and sure enough, Jordan went in, he's like, this is great. He's like, because I can bring this to my team and I can bring it to my executives and use this. And I have these beautiful reports that say we're doing all the right things. We're all green, we're all good. It gives that, like, it's that security blanket of like, hey, if something goes wrong, it's going to alert us. But right now we're doing all the right things. But what he found value, and it was an ancillary thing that we weren't even thinking about. Now it's become a major feature for us is, yes, we're doing tech stack optimization. We're making sure all the flat bearings are ground down and rounded and nice and shiny and greased up and rolling down the track and everything's, cohesive. Your environment's fixed. We're getting you best practices. But what he found was, oh man, when I went into the guide page, you told me, hey, this is what I got all going well, but you gave me my very next project. Like I was looking on the CISA website. I was like talking to friends. I was, going to these industry meetings, talking to analysts, like what's the next thing? You guys in order said your biggest bang for your buck is that you're not doing this, this, and this that you need to do next. And so a light bulb went off. Again, that wasn't even something we were focused on.
Yeah.
And it's become a major feature. And it's for the enterprises and for the SMBs. They're like, yeah, it's fine for you guys helping us out, get our current environment set up right. But really what I'm focused on is like, what's next? What's that net? How are you going to save me that time and the energy focusing on what I need to do?
Yeah.
I think we didn't explain this, but what we're doing within the tech stack is, the frameworks that they use, whether it's CIS or ISO or NIST or CMMC, whatever it is. There are items within each of those frameworks that are just extremely ambiguous, right? Security awareness training is actually very famous for this. It just says train and fish your employees. That's it. Like, okay, but what does that mean? Like, can I just take these guys in for coffee and donuts once a year and that's enough? And I just pull up a slide that says, this is a phishing email. Don't click on it. All right, everybody go back to work. We know that's not effective, right? But every vendor that does security awareness training has their best practices. They have their things that they do. With our 175 integrations that we've done, and it's growing every day, we go product by product and train the AI very extensively on best practices, the user guide, the installation guide, the community portals for all these platforms. Anything that we can get public facing or through our partnerships with them, we train the AI to basically come back as like a 20-year veteran and look at, okay, Joe with ABC company is using this product this way. It's pretty far off in terms of the ideal, the perfect way. So I'm going to write him a program step by step. Again, paint by numbers. How do I get him using this platform how he should? And that's part of that whole tech stack optimization that again, not really anybody's doing and doing it in that way. And it's highly effective. And for the SMBs, it's fantastic. For enterprises, they're realizing like they just switched out from product A to product B. It's new to them. They haven't used it before. And so they have to rely on CSMs. They have to read the product manual. And to them, they have to figure out, how do I implement this right? We're speeding up implementation of these other products. Like, I don't have an exact figure, but we've had people where it's like, hey, this would have taken me a couple of weeks. I was able to actually implement it in a couple of days for their product. Our integrating our product, we're getting fully implemented in about an hour and a half. Like fully implemented. These POC calls are happening 30, 40 minutes. They're able to connect up 6 or 7 different products. We made it that, and that was kind of, we've been working on this for, 2.5, almost 3 years. And that was the big thing, was we wanted this platform to be so easy to use and to get up and running. We know that you can't take 2 weeks to get a POV together. You have to get them using it and show value immediately. And that's how we built it. So hats off to Charles and the security team or the dev team.
Love that. I mean, like, yeah, I think, crikey, so many things we touched on here. Improved security is obviously a huge element of what we're doing here, but you touched on it there. You both have on the time and the effort you'll save and the ease of using this as opposed to maybe sort of, looking in the dark for something, and the reassurance piece. And then on top of that, oh, here's what you could do to improve it. Like, it's like having, like you say, having a security team there in a technology stack.
Yep.
What's next? Very, very, I guess, early to ask that question, but it seems like it's flying. What's around the corner?
So I'll say this, we have a couple principles here in the company, cultural things, radical transparency is one, brutal honesty is another. I'm a very open person, and I just want to shout to the world everything that we have coming down the road. But Lars is the CEO, and he owns that. So I'll let him decide what he wants to kind of lift under the veil and talk about what we got coming down the road if he wants to lift that up.
So there's in what we're doing and the way that we're doing it, and tying into the security frameworks. This is one I'll kind of lift the veil on. And just through osmosis, our product is rolling into a full GRC product. It's not there yet. I mean, we need to, there's some things we need to do to pull it up to that level, including like an audit screen and, so, calendar based and responsible person and a number of different things for GRC. But eventually the product's just going to evolve into like a full GRC product. And really that's not a heavy lift for us at all. That's something coming down the pipe. We've done some major work in, we're very channel friendly in our go-to-market. And we had at my previous two companies a big focus on the on the on the oh God, I'm having brain
MSP, MSSP.
MSP, MSSP market. So we've built out multi-tenant, multi-tiered environment. So we have a full MSP console that's available. And the agentic side, we're working on some things, whereas we're going to put some serious guardrails around it and still keep that theme of, keeping that security professional in charge. But if you look at, where we go, okay, here's the problem, here's step-by-step instructions. Do you want AI to do that? And maybe it's your firewall and you say, no, it's my firewall, I'm going to do that. But if it's something like a person hadn't had a phishing test in 6 months, well, there's this whole thing, log on to the KnowBe4 console, open up a campaign, add the use, and you can just look at that and say, okay, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. AI do it. And the AI is not going to go off and randomly do other stuff. It's going to have guardrails where it just absolutely follows that exact step-by-step instruction, no more, no less, and just do that. So that'll save people a ton of time. And then there's some other stuff, but it's kind of like that. Those things are in stealth mode that we don't want to really share now, just so we can be first to market with it.
So one thing that we didn't talk about, it's not a future thing, so it's a now thing. We have our AI, it's all in-house built. Like we didn't leverage like a version of Claude or OpenAI or anything. This is a proprietary product that we built, submitting, patents and all that for it. But we, even Gartner talks about the dangers of LLMs, specifically LLMs, bringing them in and building products on them, and then them, go to the next version and then it breaking and this and that and whatever, but also just hallucinations from large language models. And the idea is more on small language models, where you can put a lot more guardrails around it. You can prevent certain type of injections of certain things, and it also prevent hallucinations. So we have that as part of the platform as well, where you can go in and ask it any question you want about your environment. So you're talking about deep insight into your environment, where you could ask a question like, okay, give me a list of everybody within my environment that has either had their password breached in the last 6 months or failed a phishing test.
Wow.
Boom. Gives you 65 people, whatever. That's a big number, but let's just for this, let's play with it.
Yeah.
So you have 65. Okay. Narrow that down to those people that also have admin access to something within the environment. Boom. These 12 people. Good. Narrow that down to who may have a CVE on their device or a device that they have access to. Boom, these 4 people. Good. Tell me what I should do to remediate that. And it just says, great, for these 4 people, do this, do this, do this. For their devices, do this, do this, do this. For their products, do this, do this, do this. So again, step by step. And then what should I do with those other 65 people? And then you can go and it breaks down again in order of risk, not only deep insights, but then deep recommendations on how to beef up your operations. So that's something that's like we're constantly working on and improving. But we had just launched a couple of weeks ago, and it's pretty powerful already. So
it sounds cool. So I could literally be a CISO talking to another CISO at an event or through the peer group, and this other CISO I'm talking to got hit with X. Oh, I'm not sure if we've got that sorted in our environment. Let me just throw some questions at it, and it spits out exactly what I need to know instantly and gives the fixes.
Yep. You could even like, let's say, MITRE comes out. MITRE they update the CVs like every hour, so you can get a data feed of like, hey, these are the CVs that have been reported. And just every morning, sipping your coffee or your tea, James, I assume. PC tips? No, not tea. Okay. So, but our buddy Mark here, he's a tea guy. But when sipping, getting that caffeine in the morning, you could just drop the log of the CVs and say, do I have to worry about any of these in my environment? And boom, this one, it has to do with these 3 people and these 2 devices. Good. What should I do with it? And it tells you step by step what to do. It's pretty slick.
Madness. It's absolutely madness. It's awesome.
And you can only do this with AI. Like we wouldn't have been able, like this whole thing we've not been able to do 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago. It's just with the new advancements with AI and how things are moving so fast. It's pretty powerful.
It's absolutely insane. It's great. And guys, I know we've darted around 1,000 sort of areas here, and I think my takeaway is there's some huge stats in here that need addressing, and it sounds like we are. So, thank you so much for taking the time today.
Yeah, no worries. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, James.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Speak to you soon. Take care.
Yeah. Cheers.